The hidden crash, why homes are sitting empty while prices still pretend to rise. Welcome back to the baseline, guys. So, does it feel like the dream of owning a home keeps moving further away no matter how hard you're working? And you can get a promotion, you can pay down debt, even skip the $6 coffee, and somehow the house still moves one step further out of reach. And if you've been scrolling Zillow lately, you've probably noticed something somewhat strange, right? Because houses are just sitting there right now. Listings that used to vanish in a weekend now linger on for months, like ghosts of an overheated market that finally ran out of believers. And this is where you can feel where things might be headed, right? Because when homes stop moving, markets, they start cracking. And that's the quiet warning sign beneath all the headlines. It's like days on market, right? It sounds boring, but it's the real tell. And right now across America, that number is flashing red. So according to Realtor.com, homes in 44 out of the 50 largest US metros are sitting longer than they were just a year ago. The typical listing right now lasts 60 days, a full week longer than last year this time. And it's above pre-pandemic norms. So that's not just a slowdown, that's a heartbeat skipping. So let's try to make it as real as we can, right? Like if you look at Miami, 90 days to sell, up from 74. Orlando, 77 days, up from 63. Austin, 72 days. Vegas, 56 days, up from 42. When homes take longer to sell, prices don't crash overnight. They just melt slowly, like an ice cube on the counter. It looks sold until you realize it's half gone. And here's a headline you won't hear on CNBC, right? The US housing crash has already started, just not where you're looking at the moment. So take a breath, pause with me for just a second, because every major market that boomed the hardest, Florida, Texas, Nevada, is now seeing inventories rise. Price cuts and sellers, they're starting to disappear. In Miami alone, for every 100 new listings that come online, 57 are being pulled off by market owners who think they can wait for next spring. Now, that's like trying to outweight gravity. You can't pause a correction. You just watch it and catch up. Now, mortgage rates are hovering between 6 and 6.5%. It's historically normal, sure, but today's buyers are not living in a historical average. They're drowning in credit card debt, car payments, and wages that haven't kept up with rent, groceries, or gas for a long time. So affordability isn't just bad, it's the worst in 40 years. Now, according to the Federal Reserve, median home prices are now 7 times the median household income. That's higher than before 2008. So when buyers can't buy and sellers won't sell, the market enters a kind of a freeze zone, right? A silent standoff. But the ice is cracking under everyone's feet. So let's flip it around, right? Because people keep asking, if prices are falling in half, well, why haven't they collapsed? I mean, the crash doesn't start with prices, though, It starts with time. So with listings that linger and mortgages that stop moving, that's the invisible recession of housing. So think of it like a game of musical chairs. When the music stops, the ones still standing are the ones holding the overpriced listings. And right now, a lot of sellers are standing in Las Vegas. Supply is up 31% year over year there, tripled the national increase. In Tampa, prices are already down 6.2%. Austin, Texas, they're down about 6%, and Miami's down 4.6%. Orlando, Orlando, Florida is down about 4.3%. And all of them share the same pattern: rising inventory, longer days, sharper cuts. And that's not random, guys. That's math catching up. Even Realtor.com's chief economist admits this, right? Buyer response has remained muted, even with more homes on the market. So what's the translation to that? Well, the demand economists promised us has left the building, right? And here's the part that made me stop scrolling, because some homeowners desperate for cash are starting to sell pieces of their house to investors through home equity agreements. Not loans, not lines of credit, deals. They give investors a chunk of future appreciation in exchange for cash today. No monthly payments. I mean, it sounds clever on one end, right? Until you realize what it really means. You're selling tomorrow to survive today. It's financial cannibalism, like eating your seed corn and expecting a harvest. So these agreements can stick a lien on your home, require balloon payments later, and often end up costing more than traditional debt. So you don't pay interest, you pay in ownership. It's the same trick Wall Street pulled in 2008, just with better branding. Now, we've turned homeowners into revenue streams. And that is so scary, at least as the market's concerned, right? But if we zoom out and take a breath and look at Utah, where this story gets really political, right? Because the state literally gave a $2 million grant to a nonprofit whose job it was to convince people there's still a housing shortage. That's right, guys. Instead of building homes, they funded propaganda to justify developer tax breaks and zoning changes. Meanwhile, actual listings in Utah are at a 10-year high, over 14,000 homes for sale statewide. That's more than pre-pandemic levels, guys. But sales, they're down to 2012 levels. And that's not a shortage, that's an affordability crisis wearing a mask. Now, developers love to say luxury housing helps affordability, but that's like saying yachts make water cheaper. The real shortage isn't homes, it's affordable homes. And until that changes, supply can rise all at once. It won't matter if nobody can afford what's being built. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Let me know in the comment section below. I read and reply to all of them. And thank you guys so much for watching The Baseline.